This video is brought to you by DD Tank, a free-to-play mobile game that follows in the footsteps of games like Gunbound and Worms. Download free from the link below. Greetings, this is Jazz of JazReviews, back with my top 10 picks for 2015's E3 Expo, the biggest gaming event in the world. It's been a couple of weeks since it ended now, I'm a little late to the party, but I'm gonna make you listen anyways, if you want. Kicking off at number 10 is Nintendo's Super Mario Maker. Long awaited are consumer-friendly tools that fans use to create for some nutty levels at E3 that top gamers and speedrunners then try to beat in the Nintendo World Championship hosted at E3. Evidently, it means that any maniac can now create for the most innovative and crazy Mario levels, including anything from stacks of Bowsers to reskinning entire levels from modern to classic Mario. Available come September 11th. At number 9, set in a post-apocalyptic world, Horizon Zero Dawn. Humanity has clearly reverted back to its primal ways, yet mechanical dinosaurs now dominate what is a very strange, wonderfully unique setting that Guerrilla Games have created. From what we can see, the gameplay doesn't look half bad either.
Got it!
At number 8, Doom 4. A cultural icon returns. Built upon the id Tech 6 engine, Doom 4 is fast, punchy, and above all, gory. But let us not forget that we're in for multiplayer and cooperative modes too, as well as Doom Snap Map, an in-game map editor that I think looks quite similar to Halo Forge. The single-player demo shown at E3 reflected a fairly simple but seemingly satisfying game, an experience that may closer resemble the impressions formed when first-person shooting began, but with slightly better animations, graphics, and design this time. At number 7, in a galaxy far, far too big to comprehend, No Man's Sky claims to offer a practically infinite number of planets, all with their own randomly generated qualities like the terrain or wildlife. The demo shown at E3 may not have been the most exciting, with no real hostile wildlife to witness or shoot at, but it was real, and most admirably the developers jumped in at complete random to peer in at a planet that was unexplored by even the devs themselves.
Keep in mind that I've not been here before.
Random space fights with warring factions and battles with other players were briefly addressed, but we'll have to see how extensive these events will be and how much gameplay value we can expect to get out of them, and No Man's Sky in general. There is no fixed goal per se, other than endless exploration, but we definitely got to see much of the full game this year, and the impossible scope of the game seems a touch more believable now. At number 6, the excessively explosive Just Cause 3, set in the newly oppressed lands of the Medici. No, not these guys. Is where Rico will be making use of a number of new features, including a variety of new vehicles, a grapple hook that will now be able to hold multiple tethers at once, and of course, the new wingsuit, making for some badass Hispanic Superman aerodynamics. Sadly, there doesn't seem to be any real multiplayer outside some leaderboard challenges, but the developers are keen to let the modding community create one once again for the PC. At number 5, in a galaxy far, yes, Battlefront is back, and excitingly enough, we got to see quite a lot of Battlefront action this E3, albeit extremely staged. But from most accounts, the gunplay is fantastic, as is DICE's Frostbite engine, which undoubtedly looked superb on Hoth. Battlefront 3 may integrate horde modes as well as cooperative, but it's clear to see that the title will hold less features than the previous games. There is no single player, no Clone Wars, no space battles. The question is how many features will be later sold to us via DLC. But hey, to me the game looks to be a Battlefront title as opposed to simply Battlefield reskinned. So let's hope Electronic Arts puts the consumer first this time. At number 4, a more obscure title than most would have missed at E3, Firewatch. Your name is Henry, a man with a failing marriage who decides to take a job as the new fire lookout in the solitude of Wyoming's wilderness, just after the Great Yellowstone Fires of 1988. Aside from confiscating fireworks from two naked teens,
you gotta take it easy with the fireworks, alright?
There seems to be a lot more going on here, to be uncovered by clues that may point as to why Henry's tower got ransacked whilst out on a routine patrol.
I know this will be tough for you, but try to pick your tongue up off the ground and do your job.
The dialogue between Henry and his supervisor Delilah is genuinely funny and well written. We'll just have to wait and see how many fires there'll be, and if there are more sinister elements to face on Henry's watch.
I bless the rains down in Africa!
At number 3, a linear masterpiece turned less linear, with Uncharted 4's seemingly open Jeep segment that was, as ever, a marvel to look at. There are few games to ever challenge Naughty Dog's attention to detail. Take note of how both characters react to how the Jeep is driven, or how Sully pushes down the windshield to simply see better. The combat also looks to be as dynamic and action-packed as ever. Given the pedigree behind this series, we can predict that the whole game may look like this. It should be one hell of a ride. Nathan Drake's last in the series. At number 2, I tend to give the more newly announced games a little more exposure than titles already shown off at previous E3s. But the Phantom Pain gave us so much more to look at this E3. Namely an overwhelming amount of freedom as a part of an open world MGS game. Weapon customization, vehicle and character selection appear to be extensive. Snake's mini Metal Gear Walker as well as a very helpful companion attack dog are just 2 aids to be used against the enemy and their efforts, who will adapt to Snake and play tricks of their own. Some recent 30 minutes of post-E3 gameplay even showed off some sleep grenades, sniper coordination, and Snake's bionic arm technology. The Phantom Pain appears to hold a ridiculously high number of features, too numerous to list, but we can assess that both stealth and action gameplay looks to be pretty solid too. And finally, at number 1, an obvious choice, Fallout 4. Located in post-apocalyptic Boston, the setting looks to be as diabolically grand as ever, including notable landmarks like the Massachusetts State House, USS Constitution, and of course, super mutants and Deathclaws, as much a landmark as anything. For better or worse, your character is now voice acted.
No.
The demo also showed off a fully comprehensive weapon customization system matched with Dead Rising styled modifications to forge some truly creative tools of death that should be apparent in any game born from this setting. Fallout 4 will also feature a real-time building system to construct your own home and settlement, from which you may attract settlers to your town and protect your people from all attackers. There's a lot going on here, as expected from any Fallout game, but it's great to see that it's back. Coming November 10th, 2015. This could very well be the game to reinforce the notion that the role-playing genre is one of the most imaginative, empowering, and most rewarding in the industry. But until that time, this has been Jazz of JazReviews with my top 10 picks for the best games of E3 2015. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was with no doubt a great E3 with a ton of games I can't wait to play, but are obviously not releasing anytime soon for the summer. But do you want to know what I'm playing right now? DD Tank is a completely free-to-play mobile app that surrounds turn-based action that follows in the footsteps of games like Gunbound and Worms. DD Tank is a very addicting but sometimes challenging progression-based game that naturally becomes that much harder with all kinds of bosses and variables thrown into the mix at higher levels. Along the way you will of course unlock new weapons, items and character cosmetics, making for a pretty hefty mobile game, to be downloaded absolutely free to all mobiles and tablets. And if you would prefer, the gameplay also expands into both online cooperative to play alongside others, as well as a versus multiplayer. If you think this game is for you, you can download DD Tank by clicking the link in the description below, and it's available for both Android mobiles and iPhones. But thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the comments.